You're listening to Passing Time, a Detroit Lions podcast. We're one pride and all grit, with a passion for Detroit Lions football. Whether you're between meetings, between classes, sitting in traffic, or just relaxing at home, if you have time to pass, pass it with Passing Time. Detroit Lions Talk.
It's just so good. It's good. So good. Hey, welcome back. This is episode 15, and we're on the clock, and you're passing time with us, a Detroit Lions podcast. And I'm Rob.
I'm Brian.
Somehow this pod is aged with gray hair, a little midday back pain. But we're still chasing the same dream we had in week one. Back when we had Joey Harrington and he gave us hope, just with better bourbon and worse ankles.
Yeah.
What do you say, Brian? Let's give this one another roll.
Let's go.
Hey, this is episode 15. Welcome back. We're passing time here, and if you're anything like us, you're riding high off the first sniff of real football.
Yeah, preseason Hall of Fame game.
Wasn't good.
Nope.
Hall of Fame game's in the books, and the pads are cracking in Allen Park. First episode of Inside the Den just dropped.
Yep.
And we're looking at a management team that looks like their team's on a rise, and we're looking like a bunch of third stringers looking like they're going to get cut.
Oh, man. And that's what the Hall of Fame game, that's what the preseason's for, right? So let's see what we got.
Loaded podcast today. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe some star players. Aiden Hutchinson looks like he's a man possessed.
Maybe the best guy on the field right now, MVP player, defense player of the year, comeback player of the year. What award will he win this year?
Is this the year he fully breaks out, full season?
Let's go.
Gibbs, unleashed. Is he just a flat-out dude that goes out there, not only runs the ball, catches the ball, and might just be the focal point of Detroit's offense?
Is John Morton going to utilize him both in the running and passing game with him and Monty on the field at the same time?
That would be unbelievable.
Yep.
Rookie battles are heating up. A few fan favorites might be on the chopping block.
Okay.
All right. We're going to break down what Inside the Den told us about Brad Holmes' war room, while Miles Frazier and Tyreek Williams might be go get your guy kind of guys in moments of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like based on the Inside the Den, they went out and got the guys they wanted to get.
Man, I don't know if we're getting fed some narrative, some Cinderella story watching that, but it kind of felt like you got done with that and it's like, holy cow, like everything's falling in place.
And they're not going to say poorly about the guys they got, but it sounds like they were very excited about the guys they got.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
You know?
Around the North, we're going to talk a little bit about the other teams in the NFC North. Chicago, a little bit of chaos. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, chaos, right? Depth questions in Minnesota.
Yep.
And some analytics are coming out saying the Packers might be the team to beat in the NFC North.
Packers. Okay.
Yeah.
Packers.
Oh, and Frank Ragnall's toe gets some bonsai treatment. Trust us, maybe it'll make sense a little bit later. Podcast, huh? Yeah.
Listen to Rob.
Oh boy. So we're gonna kick it a little bit around the NFL here. And maybe we'll start off with we talked a little bit about the last couple of podcasts. For some reason, the Commanders feel like they're a new rival, just the bitter taste from last year. So I welcome any drama going on in Washington right now, and Scary Terry's kind of promoting some drama right now.
It sounds like he is not interested in the contract that they proposed, and he has proposed a trade.
Do you think this is like real talk, like, hey, or do you think it's contract negotiation?
It is, in my opinion, complete contract negotiations. It's just a scheme to get the most for what he thinks he's worth.
So Scary Terry next year, this coming year, will be a
Washington Commander. In my opinion, I think there's no way the Commanders let him walk. There's no way they allow him to go play somewhere else. I think that they at some point throughout this preseason get a deal done. And it might not be what both sides want, but it'll make Terry happy enough, and Commanders will have him in their offense.
So in 2 years from now, he's still a Washington Commander.
I think that he's looking for a 2 to 3 year deal, and he wants to be paid. So
yeah, all right. He wants to get paid like DK Metcalf got paid. And if I'm an NFL franchise, as a Lions fan, I don't want my guys to get paid like DK Metcalf just got paid for his production, right? Like,
well, no. I mean, we're kind of dealing with a little bit of that, not nearly to that scale, but with Alex Anzalone, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But what we're looking for, is we want hometown discounts, but no player at this point is willing to give hometown discounts unless you're guaranteed a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt. NFL, they're taking a little bit of a image hit right now. You got the NFLPA going to the strip club looking for hookers, and Hendon.
You watched him.
He had an interesting game tonight. I don't know if you want to find that kind of hooker there. I would pay more for the hookers if you're out there, but they got that issue going on. Also, they got a little issue with the Super Bowl ticket scandal right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're reaching out to almost every team, or at least half the teams in the NFL, who are reselling tickets for more than they're worth.
I mean, taking a $10,000 ticket and flipping it for $57,000.
Yeah,
pretty easily. And Wall Street is very, very much called insider trading.
Yeah. And I would assume that this is very similar to that. I mean, you hand somebody a ticket and they just flip it for cash in their money.
Yeah, I mean,
in their pocket.
Hey, Bri, like, give me something worth 10 that I can sell for $57,000, but you don't want to do the dirty work, and all I have to do is go out there and do the dirty work, like that. We can get in trouble, but if we keep it on the down low, we can make some money.
I mean, I'm a more honest person than that, so we're not going to go there.
Yeah, so it's kind of nasty, and you throw that alongside of Lloyd Howell Jr. resigning after charges that he's literally using the players' funds to host meetings at the strip club. NFL's got some work to do here to rebuild some of that image.
And you look at the Kelsey brothers, who are making light of that at the very least.
Was a strip club. Maybe they thought they were going to a restaurant.
I've heard the wings are good there.
Who knows what they knew?
They knew. When they walked in, they knew.
They knew before they walked in. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
And so, what we're looking at here is a scandal, and people are losing jobs for it.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll flip it around the NFL a little bit more, and Justin Fields arrives, and he's already hurt, and the injury looks bad, but all of a sudden it doesn't look so bad.
Yeah,
and he might be back.
Oh, and the question is Aaron Glenn going to be able to navigate the New York media? Is he going to navigate this team that he's going to start from a very similar spot as when the Lions started? And is he going to be able to build that up? And is Justin Fields a guy who's going to be able to do that?
Yeah, and dude, the Jets just the merry-go-round right here is just so interesting. And I'm a big Aaron Glenn guy.
I am too.
That's interesting, right? Because you're not a Ben Johnson guy. He bolts, and you're not a Ben Johnson guy. And then you want to jump on board and be an Aaron Glenn guy here.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel a little bit scorned by Ben Johnson, and I feel a little bit more like Aaron Glenn paid his dues, and I think Aaron Glenn wanted to leave a year before and wasn't given the opportunity. I feel like Aaron Glenn earned his stripes along that way, and I think Ben Johnson was kind of handed some of those stripes.
You're talking out of two sides of your mouth.
That's where I'm at.
Ben Johnson turned down opportunities the year before to come back and win a Super Bowl.
That's fair.
Aaron Glenn wasn't afforded those opportunities.
That's fair. That's you're right. And then the reality is I guess I feel more harsh towards Ben Johnson because the decision to go to the Bears, an in-division rival, was hurtful more for me, and I was more scorned than an Aaron Glenn who went outside of that division.
This is a you thing, not a Ben
It,
Johnson
it
thing.
must be
All
a me thing, and I can own that.
Okay.
But I'm also hoping that I'm going to take it to Ben Johnson at least twice a year.
Yeah, and you're going to have that opportunity.
We will.
Not physically you, but you'll have a microphone
Yeah,
in front of your face
that's
2 times a year after that opportunity happens.
Fair enough. We'll
There's
see
no
what
doubt.
happens.
There's no doubt. So, also, hey, Chargers, who the Lions just got done playing, just set records, and this is such a Jim Harbaugh thing for paying offensive linemen.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh is going to start it from the trenches and from the interior out, and I truthfully believe that's the right way to do it. You establish your trenches. You get your gritty guys that are going to establish the line of scrimmage, that are going to win you those games from the beginning to grind it through to the end. And those are the guys that you pay. I love that.
Rashawn Slater, 4-year contract, mega deal, become the highest paid offensive lineman ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Do you think he's worth
ever? He's a Penei Sewell.
Okay.
But he's right there in that category.
Okay.
So they're basically, salary cap and guards, selling Lombardi rings.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. The Chargers think that they're in it to win it right now, and they're building within.
And they are making those strides, they won 11 games last year. I mean, they're on the upward swing. So
yeah, no doubt. Rookie Josh Connerly Jr., who we talked a little bit about pre-draft, becoming a Lion, is making big noise in Washington right now. Basically looking like he might be a starter over there.
And the reality is I mean, you have to find those hits on some of those picks, and is he going to be one of those big guys that makes a big impact year one?
Yeah, we'll see. But hey, that's a little around the NFL, but we are finally getting some content here for the Detroit Lions.
Ooh, yes.
So we're going to do some instant reactions here to the Hall of Fame game because football is live here. We're watching Honolulu Blue on the field. No, it's pretty meaningless. There's some 4-stringers. There's some guys that are never going to make the roster. But we saw some guys out there in meaningful action today, and I want to get some instant reaction from you, Brian.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't I was excited to see the Honolulu Blue, and the competitor in me wants to see them succeed. But then I start to narrow in on the guys that I want to see play and play well. And I didn't see as much of some of those guys. Like I was going in thinking Manu was going to play from the first down to the last down, and he didn't play until the second half, right? And so, some of these guys that I wanted to see have meaningful reps and get those reps from the beginning to the end, maybe didn't get as many as I wanted. And we looked sloppy, to be real. I mean, to be real, the Lions did not look from the start to the finish like a well-oiled machine. I mean, we fumbled the opening kickoff. We had turnover after turnover. We gave up touchdowns. We didn't score them, to the rate that I would have hoped for. So,
I mean, quarterback play after Jared Goff is going to leave a lot to be desired, right? So, let's go back and let's erase any thought we had. The most important player on the Lions roster is Jared Goff, because Kyle Allen is not the answer. And Hendon Hooker is not the answer.
And that's the reality. And the battle for that QB2 is still up in the air. I mean, Hendon Hooker didn't go into that game and win it outright. And Kyle Allen didn't go into that game and win it outright either. So
no, they're both not the answer. All right.
Nope.
So if the Lions are seeking the quarterback of the future, they're seeking it from a future draft pick or a future trade. It's currently not on the roster. It's Jared Goff. A lot of blank spaces than everybody else.
And that's true. I mean, I feel like when we drafted Hendon Hooker, everybody was kind of excited because he was going to be the guy that transitioned, because Jared Goff was a bridge quarterback, and maybe Hendon Hooker could be the next guy. Or, it could have been Hendon Hooker could be worth a second round pick somewhere down the road. And the reality is that's not it.
Hey, I'm here telling you right now, you probably heard it third here, but Hendon Hooker is not the answer. All right. He might patch you through.
Sure.
But if you go back a little bit, there's a reason why the Lions didn't turn to Hendon Hooker to spot play Jared Goff when he was hurt. And they turned to a guy that was fresh off coaching high school football in Miami.
But he won a championship. I mean, come on.
He won a championship, yeah. So there's some issues there. But look, let's talk a little bit about a couple guys that we did see play. So we saw Rakestraw play.
Rakestraw, and there was some glimmers of good from Rakestraw, but there was some times that he got beat as well. And so I want to see Rakestraw consistent.
Yeah.
And I think he just needs reps. I mean, he lost a lot of last year due to injury. He lost even a little bit of this training camp due to injury. And I'm glad to see he's out there. He made it through the game. So
yeah. We saw a series where they featured Isaac Tesla.
Ooh.
And it resulted in a red zone and an end zone interception. But the couple completions before that, it was basically kind of 3 targets in a row. And you saw some things.
And it looked like they hey, get Tesla the ball, get Tesla the ball, get Tesla the ball. And they were kind of forcing that into him. And the first 2 receptions, it just looked like Tesla was better than the other guys on the field at that time. So that's exciting for me, because I think that if that's his floor, then we have a lot of excitement to continue with Tesla, because he's going to get better.
Yeah. So if you have a field full of second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers, and you throw Tesla in that, and he looked like a dude standing out right there, right? Like, it's like, whoa, all right, maybe you got something a little bit different there, because
right.
He was hand catching above his head into his body, and catching and running, looking upfield, and looked like he couldn't be covered for a little bit, with Kyle Allen, who also looks like doesn't know if he's throwing left-handed or right-handed out there. And it was a struggle fest for him.
He's bigger, faster, and stronger right now than most of the guys in the field. And he, again, like you said, catches the ball with his hands. He blocks when the ball is being run. He's willing to do that dirty work. I mean, we're going to get into Inside the Den here a little bit later, but man, he is a guy that we talk about is going to be great in year 2, but could continue to impact in year 1. So,
was there anything else that you saw, maybe trenches or any other ancillary positions, that really fired and stood out to you in this game?
I mean, Grant Stewart was he was on the field. He looks like he could be he can't return. Please don't put him as a return man. But at the same point, he could play a backup linebacker position and could play that role. Is he going to replace anybody? No, but he can play special teams. He can go down and seek and destroy in those punt coverages. He can play some defense. And I think he's going to be a guy that we are going to use here and there when guys get banged up.
Okay. So I kind of noticed the offensive line started off kind of struggling.
Yeah.
As the game went on and as the third stringers became fourth stringers, it's hard to really say. It looked like they were establishing a little bit of holes. And, Craig Reynolds was out there. And it's really hard to say. And
then you got Small and you got, Sailor. You got some guys that probably aren't going to see an NFL field, but at running back, that is. But you also got some offensive linemen who, they're fighting for those fringe spots. Is a Colby Sorsdale going to win himself a spot? Is a Manu going to turn himself into a viable backup tackle? Skip played the whole first half, and he did. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fearful that Panay and Decker go down at some point, because Skip, as much as I love him, he's not the answer for a starting role.
Yeah. So, I guess what it boils down to is what it feels like right now is the Lions can throw out there some really good starters, but there's a sheet of question marks beyond that.
And that's yes. I think we're young still, and we still have we need growth. So we have a Frazier who's banged up right now, who didn't play because he's hurt. We have a Tate Ratledge who's young that we didn't see today because he's going to be a really important part of the Lions offense. We have Christian Mahogany, who didn't play because he's going to be a huge part. And all I'm hearing is great things coming out of him from camp.
Yeah.
But then you get into the Millers and the Joneses and you got these other guys who are further down the line that hopefully we don't have to see all that much.
So, I mean, listen, this is a nothing burger today.
Right.
Like it was, we gave you a couple of glimpses of Isaac Tesla, and we gave you a couple 7th-round glimpses.
The Dan Jacksons, at safety, and the Keenleys, who are undrafted free agents, and
from Grand Valley State University.
Let's go.
Yeah, we saw a little bit there, but by and large, this was, hey, we're playing the first game. We're not ready. We're not showing you anything.
No.
So if you're scoreboard watching here, it's probably best you go have a bourbon and just chill out and go to bed.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they kept themselves in a ton of 10 personnel. They ultimately had one running back, a tight end. They were very vanilla in the reality of what they showed to everybody, and you're not going to be able to win games that way. And being that this is the Hall of Fame game, an extra preseason game, they're not going to show anything.
So we saw it, right? But let's bounce back a little bit. Let's
Okay.
talk a little bit about what we've been getting notes on in practice, what we've been seeing through glimpses in practice. And it seems like, for all you guys crying about having a defensive end that's worth a damn, Aiden Hutchinson is back and he's better than ever.
He's worth a damn. Like, that's what we're talking about right now, is that Aiden Hutchinson is not injured anymore. He is not having the effects of an injury. He is the man. And from what we're hearing as fans, coming off that scrimmage that they had the other day, he's the best guy on the field.
Yeah, you put him on the left side, he wins a rep. Put him on the right side, he wins a rep. And one of those guys he wins a rep with is a perennial All-Pro Panay
Sewell.
I think he's post leg woes right now. Like he's firing on all cylinders. You saw his interview. He's confident. He's quirky. He's slightly awkward. Like he's half Jim Harbaugh's son now, but like he's out there and he looks very confident.
And you saw the clip of him saying, "Hey, I do the spin move and I'm going to beat Panay," and then he goes off and beats Panay. I mean, this guy is thinking each step along the way and making those adjustments. He's finding ways to win those reps, and he's after it. I love it.
So here's a good transition. All right, so let's be the first podcast to put to bed the defensive end BS that we've been hearing, because we got Hutch on one side, and also Marcus Davenport is healthy and
Beast.
He's popping right now.
He's a beast.
So I think the Detroit Lions have the best defensive end combination in the NFC North.
Woo!
And one of the best in the NFC.
I love it.
Together.
Hey, listen, man. My hot take, how many pods back said that Marcus Davenport is going to play a full season and he's going to be the man? And he has shown in this training camp that he's the man. He is winning reps. He is getting after it. He is healthy. He is fired up. And he might rub you the wrong way because he doesn't want to hear your garbage anymore about him not being the guy. The Lions believe in him, and we should start believing in him too.
This is a make or break summer. It's a contract summer, and the he's going to go out there and he's going to pop.
And we paid basically nothing for him.
Yeah.
So the reality is if he's going to pop, he's going to demand something big later.
Yeah. So as the season ages and the interior defensive line depth gets healthy and then also matures from rookies to having a couple games under their belt, I think the Detroit defensive line is going to elevate the Lions from being this team that people are kind of sleeping on now. Like we were the darlings that everybody's rooting for, and now we're the hunted, and everybody's trying to take down a notch. But I think the defensive line is maybe the most slept on area of the Detroit Lions going into this season.
And it's hunting season, man. It's ready to go. Okay, the Lions are I believe going to be better defensively this year than they are offensively, and I think Davenport.
Whoa! Say that again.
the Lions defensively are going to be better than they are offensively. And I'm telling you this based on a top of the league offense coming off of last year, but defensively being healthy with guys like Aiden healthy, with guys like Davenport healthy, with the interior DJ Reader and Tyleek Williams, even though we're hearing some scuffles of him like having some growing pains. But Aleem coming back at some point, they're going to be solid. Our DBs are going to be solid. Finding ways to make Anzalone at least content are going to be solid. Barnes and Jack Campbell. We have a great group on that defensive side.
That's mind blowing, right? Because you take a team that was top of the league offensively, and you say their defense was lacking, and then the next year you flip that script and you say their defense is going to be better. That's a big take, Bri. That's a big take, and it segues well into Jahmyr Gibbs, basically thriving as a receiving threat.
I love it.
And we talk a lot about Goff being a statue. We talk a lot about no Frank Ragnow and the offensive line potentially having some problems. So how do you solve those problems? One, you have a threat of a running back out of the backfield. Two, you have some quick action. You have some guys, maybe Sam Laporta turns into his rookie form. You have J-Mo turn into a guy that can catch and go or hit the deep ball. The offense has a chance to be really, really scary, despite what the pundits are talking about all the steps they're going to take backwards going into this year.
And the only reason they talk about the steps taking back are, one, Frank he's a huge hit. Zeitler, we don't talk about him enough. I don't think we talk about him enough. And Ben Johnson, who I think we talk about him way too much. So ultimately, those three contributors to the offense is leaving us with question marks. So we'll see what that happens. But the threats are still there. The weapons are still there. Sam Laporta, I mean, you've seen some of those clips of them saying, like, it's the year of Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
And then you come back and say Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be on the field with Montgomery at the same time.
Yeah.
Those that threat, that dual threat. As a defensive-minded coach, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Like, do you put a linebacker on him? Do you put a safety on him? How do you cover Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield? And then let's be honest, Montgomery can catch the ball out of the backfield too.
Yeah. So all right. So if it's the year of Sam Laporta, what the hell are you gonna do with Jahmyr Gibbs if he's coming out of the backfield?
And let's not forget about J-Mo, who is having an unbelievable camp. Amon-Ra, who we don't talk about enough because he just does it and does it and does it and does it. Like, there are so many mouths to feed. How are you going to feed them all?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the year of J-Mo.
Let's go.
We're not talking about him, and Amon-Ra's going to eat. It might be the year of Amon-Ra because, like, we're just like, hey, Laporta's ready. Gibbs is ready. Montgomery can catch out of the backfield. Here's J-Mo over here. Maybe he's going to get just single covered the whole year.
And you talk about J-Mo, they're like, if you don't press him, he'll beat you. If you press him, he'll beat you. His route tree is expanded. Like, he's going to be able to run the deep ball. He's going to do all the things that you ask a number 2 wide receiver, if not number 1 wide receiver, to do.
So how does this go wrong? Like, how does the offensive line, can it crater enough to diminish this potential?
If there's pressure up the middle, that causes struggles on Goff. And I can imagine that being the concern, right? If you're getting pressure in your face right up the middle consistently, then you're going to get a 2009 Matthew Stafford who, like, got a little gun shy, right? I mean, you look at some of those things and he gets the ball out quick or makes poor decisions. But if you can establish, like, hey, that trust in that offensive line, then the threats are going to continue to grow.
Yeah, I don't think we're reverting back to 2009 lines, right? Like, a lot has changed here. Goff is a veteran quarterback. You got some veteran wide receivers. You got a veteran tight end. You got a couple bookend tackles. Like, this is it's going to be okay here. And,
it's going to be okay.
And bookmark this episode here because it feels like we're pumping you up a little bit. This isn't pumping you up. It's just all the outside noise right here is trying to tear the Lions down. And what we're trying to say is like, don't listen to that. Like, hold steady here. If you got Packer friends, you got Viking friends, you got Bears friends. I don't know why you have those friends, but like,
get rid of those friends.
Yeah, feel free to just jab back because this is going to be all right.
Yeah.
With that said, there's going to be some cuts coming, Bri.
They are. I mean, we're going to have to narrow it down as training camp goes on, and the 53-man roster is going to be coming sooner than later. And what is that going to look like? And we'll get into that in future podcasts. But right now, there's questions.
Hassanin?
I can't imagine Hassanin not making it only because he is a high energy guy. He's a project guy. He is, to me, what Manu was. And so they'll keep him around only knowing that if they cut him to try to stash him on a practice squad, somebody's going to snatch him.
Yeah. Wide receiver depth. I think we're a little worried about wide receiver depth coming the year. I think it's probably one of the, if they stay healthy, it's the most solid position.
I think they're strong. And I think the only true threat is if you lose Amon-Ra, that does create a huge void in your offense.
Yeah.
And I think J-Mo could pick up some slack, but I don't think he is ready to pick up all the Amon-Ra slack. Do I think Tesla could be a guy that helps support that? Yes, but he's, as a rookie, not ready to take on a huge role. Tim Patrick, Khalif Raymond, those guys are going to be contributors as we go on.
Yeah, and Tesla's not a young rookie either.
No,
he's a seasoned rookie. He's ready, and we'll get a little bit in that when we talk about Inside the Den. So quickly, what about the safeties? We got some emerging youth looking like they're going to add some depth pieces there.
Well, I mean, we have 2 of the top 5 safeties in the league,
yeah,
right? And then you have, Avante Maddox, who's a seasoned vet that has looked here and there, wishy-washy throughout camp, but can still support as a third guy. And then you have a question marks with Dan Jackson, who's a rookie, or Hallett, who is going to be in as an undrafted free agent or from Jacksonville that's going to come in. Strickland, those are guys that I think the Lions like, but how do they fit in, and who's going to win that safety 3 or 4 or 5 spot?
Yeah. Then we got a little bit of recent news on Alex Anzalone.
So Alex is he showed up to camp. He did some interviews. He was not happy with his contract. And then today, I mean, we're recording this on Thursday. Said, you know what, $250,000 is the number, and more guaranteed for on top of his last year of his contract. So that's, to me, a little telling to what the Lions are going to do with Alex, beyond this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're not giving him a big long-term contract, right? It's going to be a bitter pill here.
Yeah.
If you really want to be a Lion, it's going to be a series of lowball 2-year deals, potentially 1-year contract extension type deals, to prove it deals that you still have it each and every year, because we're in a little bit of a cap situation, and like, we can give you what we can give you.
And they're saying like sorry, Alex, we love you. We appreciate what you've done to get us here, but it's almost time to pass the torch over to Jack Campbell and allow him to do what you've done and move forward. And is Alex going to be able to swallow that pill and hand that torch over?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll take it back to a girlfriend analogy here. It's kind of like, my freshman year of college. I had a high school girlfriend. It's like, hey, baby, I really like you, right? I like you, but I'm aging into something different over here. And like, if I'll give you a series of 30-day contracts here, like if you can make a lot of visits to where I'm at, hanging out, having a lot of fun, and you want to distract me from my fun weekends by a good time with you, we'll hang out. We'll be together. But like, as soon as you miss a couple of these weekends, and I find some different talent around here, like, we might be at the end of our contract.
I don't know what to say about that. I can't dive into that one more than. All right.
Well, hey, for the extra paid subscribers, if you want to hear, we'll do a private segment on that a little bit. So with that said, this is a good pause here. I think it's time to analyze what. If you're watching this, you were probably one of those psychopaths that had like 869 people waiting to watch Inside the Den,
right,
as it's counting down. I was
confused whether it was going to be today or tomorrow. What is it going to be?
Yeah, I was with you. So as we patiently waited, we got to kind of see that, and maybe what were some takeaways there?
The takeaways that I had is the Lions have a dude that they're going to go after, and they're going to go after him with relentless effort and excitement, and they're going to get the guys that they want. It sounds like Tyreek was a guy they wanted. It sounds like Tate was a guy that they really wanted. And it sounds like Tesla was a guy that and Frazier. Like, these are guys that they wanted. And then you get deeper in the draft, and Hassanin and Jackson and even Lovett were guys that they wanted. So, I mean, it sounds like either they are geniuses in the way that they draft and how they navigate the draft, or they're just going to feed us what they did on the show. So
yeah, I mean, maybe they got a good producer, right?
Sure.
So you jumped way ahead. You talked about a lot of guys.
Sorry.
Let's bring it back.
All right. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the first round.
All right, Tyreek. I mean, it sounds like they set pat. They were excited about the opportunity of Tyreek falling to them, and they got a guy that they thought was going to be a contributor because they thought that they fit what the Lions did and what they wanted him to do perfectly.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like they waited on Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
If you listened to the whole episode, they went up and they got their guy when they were getting nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek sounded like a guy that was like, we were comfortable taking him. So maybe it was a guy that maybe wasn't their first choice. Maybe it even wasn't their second choice. But they were excited to have him there.
Yep.
And as it got closer, and maybe they saw a couple names come off the board that they'll never tell you about, they were comfortable taking Tyreek.
And I think in the episode that one time you heard of a Graham come into play, and that could have been possibly a guy, but he went so far before then that they realized that he was not even in the realm of possibility to move up to get.
Yeah. So Tate was next, and they waited for him,
kinda,
and they waited for him,
kinda,
and then they decided they're not waiting any longer,
right.
and that wait was still going to be quite a bit longer, right?
Sure.
So they went up and they got their guy.
They went up and got the guy because, one, I think that they looked at their offensive line as a need of getting younger, and they wanted to get that youth movement moving into there, whether that was Zeitler moving out or whether that was they had the idea that Frank was leaving. They needed that guy, that youth movement to move in order to revitalize. Because then you heard later that this could be their offensive line for the future.
Oh, I mean, you let's revisit what you just said. They had an idea that Frank was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Frank told them that he was leaving. If Frank signaled that he was leaving too early, somebody might jump up and take a Tate Ratledge before the Lions had an opportunity to draft him.
That's
right?
correct.
Because then they know that the Lions have a bigger need in the middle of their offensive line. So I think there was some coordination there, and Frank did the Lions a favor, probably told them, hey, guys, like 99% chance I'm out, but let's just wait until after the draft. So we're not shooting any big flares up for you.
That's fair. And that's fair. And if you think about it that way, that's smart on the Lions and Frank's, approach to it, where we looked at it as fans and like, man, why didn't you tell me earlier so I could have done something in free agency?
Yeah.
Maybe their plan wasn't free agency. Maybe it was just the draft.
Yeah, I mean, fans are playing like bumper bowling, and the Lions are playing some virtual version of 4D chess, right? Like,
right.
Guys, like they have some plans going on behind the scenes, and they got to let it play out, right? Like we want this, we want that, and go to another sport. You talk about like the Tigers just had the trade deadline and fans are up in arms. Like there was a lot going on there, guys. Like,
Right.
all right, the average age was me, right? And it's not ideal, but you got your whole farm system and they got bullets to shoot later on into next year. So what I took is that they're waiting on Tate. They had him targeted. Things were starting to get a little dicey. Some guards were coming off the board. And there was a short list of guys that they really felt like were quality guards worth getting. And then there was a list of everybody else that was like, you know what, we'll snag that guy in the 5th or 6th round when he's around if we need a guard. And Tate was on that list, and they got impatient. And they said, you know what, we got to go up and get our guy. We need to get a starter, and that's an important spot, knowing what we know about the Lions situation right now. And they got a guy. So I think they look at Tyleek as a rotating starter. I think they look at Tate as a starter. So then we get into the 3rd round.
I think Isaac was a guy that they targeted well earlier than even the 3rd round, but allowed themselves to wait till then because they knew that they could get him there. But that was their guy from the get-go. There was a lot of other wide receivers in the available to them earlier, but they wanted this specific wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him point to the computer at one point inside the den, and they said there's 2 guys they're pointing to, and then they said one guy has so much more potential, and they talked a little bit about in year 2 this guy is going to be unbelievable, but in even year 1 he's going to do some things that will help our football team.
And you just saw him in that preseason game, whether it was 2 catches or 3 targets or whatever it was, he is going to be a contributor in year 1.
Yeah, and full of potential, help right away. And it kind of sounded like they always plan to package a couple picks up and move up and go get a guy, because the Lions, they're not looking for like future depth anymore. They're looking for potential guys that can plug and play right away.
I'm sorry, we're doing this in front of a live audience, and I think part of our audience just died.
So they got their guy, and I think they feel like it's a super high ceiling rate.
Yep.
Oh, God. We have to do something about this. I can't handle this.
Tyler!
Oh, if you're watching this, and we haven't edited this, one of our friends have fallen asleep.
He had a can in his hand the whole time, too.
He's snoring like crazy. I love it.
Oh, this is great. Hey, Chris, can you help me out here? I'll try not to screw that one. I can't focus a little bit. Our executive producer just woke up our junior executive producer.
Yeah.
All right. So let's flash back to another scene in the end of the 3rd round where there's a question posed to Brad Holmes. And the question was, if you had a pick here, because we traded up to get out of our end of the 3rd round pick, and you were going to pick here, who would you pick at the end of the 3rd round?
And they talked about Frazier right there. They said,
They didn't name the name. What did they say?
They said
The guard
from LSU. Yeah.
So, and they kind of cut into the next scene. And the Lions didn't have a 4th round pick.
So they had to wait and twiddle their thumbs, hoping that, some of these guys would fall to them.
In their Aggies uniforms.
Yep.
80,
85 little Holmes on the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
They looked so good there. And they waited and they discussed basically like, Miles Frazier is a guy that they looked at as another potential starting type player.
Right. And they were thinking about him at that late round or late third round spot, and they still were able to snag him as somebody who they think that they could really utilize.
Yeah, so I think bare minimum is a guy that's got position flexibility.
Yeah.
At both guard spots. I don't even know, maybe a little bit of center. That's not been talked about. But he's a guy that played multiple positions for LSU. I think he started like 50-something games in college, and they're very, very high on him.
And he plays like a lion. I mean, he is a mauler. He's willing to do the dirty work. He wants to end guys along that defensive line, right? He's excited about the physicalness that football is, and he loves football, and so he just seems like those gritty, nasty. I mean, we talked about the grit index. He is a guy that fit the lines through and through.
So Tyreek doesn't sound like he's 100 out of 100 grit index. Sounds like he's big, he's physical. He loves football. He's light in the feet. He's a dancing bear type guy.
Yep.
Maybe not like 100 out of 100 grit index, but like solid grit. Tate, he sounds like a guy that's going to be
He's
upper echelon grit index.
100 out of a grit index. So.
Isaac Tesla, he sounds like a guy that you saw him blocking the Senior Bowl. You saw him do some of those things. He's, for a wide receiver, he's up there on the grit index.
He's getting there. Yeah.
Miles Frazier, way up there on the grit index.
Grit index, yep.
So get into the next pick here. A guy that maybe doesn't have the height, the traits, the pedigree, but his grit score is as tall as the Egyptian pyramids.
Right? And you heard him on his call during this. He's like, I will die for you, Coach Campbell. I will die for you on the field.
Yeah.
That is a guy that has the passion, the love, the willingness, the drive, all those things that you want in a line.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. Pretty low floor.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And maybe a semi mid to high ceiling, very productive guy at Boise State. Had a lot of success, even against, we saw highlights of him having a lot of success playing Oregon and different teams. But potentially a guy that doesn't even come out and make the roster, right?
Yeah, right. And I think he'll make the roster, but he is a guy that you see in that preseason game, then you wish you would, like, my brain was ticking, like, he's a high energy guy. He's going to make these third and fourth rounders look a little bit silly, and he did not show out as much as I want. I mean, he got a couple pressures, but he did not nearly the success I was hoping for. So
yeah, I mean, there's time right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, there's time.
This is the first taste. Here.
Yep.
And then we'll group the next two together because they were college teammates.
Sure.
They're seventh rounders. They're just about 10 picks apart. But you got Dan Jackson and Lovett that were basically, they were talked about. It was like a coin flip. Like, who do you want to take first?
Yeah.
And it was like, let's get Dan Jackson.
Let's go Dan.
We need more safety depth. But both guys were kind of pigeonholed into being like, if they can make this team, they can help us on special teams.
And that's where they're going to, I mean, in seeing that preseason game, that's probably where they're going to fit. I saw Lovett, early in the game drop a pass, but he made another couple catches later. He just, to me, he's going to have to find himself and playing that special teams role. And Dan Jackson the same. I think Dan Jackson is going to be a gritty player, but is he going to have the size and athleticism in order to be an NFL player?
Yeah. So we'll see. So those are some of our takeaways. If you have anything else you want to add to that, if you saw something we didn't see, if you disagree with us or you agree with us and you just want to give us some love, throw some comments there. We're going to hit up, hey, Bill, you been watching this podcast? Because specifically me and a little bit over here with Brian, we've been singing some JMO hype, right?
Yeah.
So you've been tuning in and maybe you've been watching us on repeat. But what's Bill's bullet point? What's he got to say about?
Bill's saying, like, pay this man his money before we have to pay his man even more money because this guy's going to break out. It's not whether he blows up, it's when he blows up at this point. So,
what's he saying about linebackers?
He's saying that Jack. He's questioning whether Jack is ready to take on that green dot. Yeah. Is he ready to take on that green dot? And is Alex ready to hand over that green dot? We kind of chatted about this a little bit earlier, but I guess that makes sense. Alex feels like he's a contributor. He feels like he's productive. He feels like he should get paid. And it's a hard pill to swallow when you're saying, listen, we're going to go younger.
Yeah. To me, it's so obvious. Alex Anzalone is going to have the green dot this year. Okay? That's what's going to happen. But Jack's going to have the green dot next year.
Yeah.
And Jack's been told this. He knows he's ushering into the new era. If he performs well on the field, it's his middle of the defense next year.
Yep, that's right.
So, offensive line.
You saw it. You saw it tonight. You saw it Thursday night in the Hall of Fame game. Bill said tonight's game probably going to be ugly. And for the most part, early on, it was. You saw them feeding Craig Reynolds the pill, and Craig Reynolds did not gain all that much yardage. There were some times in the second quarter and into the third that some holes opened up. But the reality is like that depth of that O-line is still a question mark.
Well, the results of this game mean nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing.
For sure.
There is zero correlation with the score of this game and what's happening. The Lions are probably trying to put some guys on an island to see what they're going to do, how they're going to survive. And there's some guys that were exposed on that island. That's a really good thing to see.
And that's true. You saw them early in the game. They just said, hey, we're going to run the ball 3 times and see what our O-line can do. And you might as well tell the defense that we're going to run it here because, that's what happened. The O-line was put on an island. And there's times that they performed and there was times that they didn't.
Hey, Bill's ready to double down on the bet. All right?
Yeah.
So I've been there before. I've had a couple whiskeys, a couple beers, a couple bourbons, a couple whatevers. And I lose a couple bets. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my bet range from $1 to $2 because I'm not a big bettor. Yeah. I hate to lose more than I love to win.
Huge bettor. Huge.
And I want to double down on some bets at the end of the night. And, whether it's European handball or whatever, all the football games are over. I got to figure something out. But Bill's ready to double down here on Khalif, Craig, Brock, and Skip.
And he still thinks that one of those, if not 2 of those, will not be on the 53-man roster, which to me is crazy. It's crazy because, if you break this thing down, John Morton, our old coordinator, fought. You saw it in Hard Knocks, fought for Craig Reynolds. Skip is a legend in Detroit right now. Brock Wright is the best of the blocking tight ends that we have, and Khalif is one of the best return men in the game. How are we going to lose one of those guys? This year, no. Next year, probably. Yeah, in my opinion. That's why I took the bet.
So if you would like to bet with or against Brian, I'll be the mediator, right? I'll take the middle. I'm paying 40% out to both sides. I'm going to keep the juice in the middle here, and I'll make a little account here, and we'll take the funds in. And also, if you are really entertaining that idea, call 1-800-GAMBLER because we're really not doing that. So, also, Bill is with Brian here. He thinks that the defense potentially could be better than the offense this year.
I have to agree with Bill in this point because, you've seen it in camp, you've heard about it in camp, that our defense is out in front in the development in regards to the offensive defense. Yeah. And the defense is taking strides. If we can stay healthy, the defense is where it's at.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Also, if we're betting here, I'm going
You
to
bet.
say the Lions offense finishes better than the Lions defense.
Ooh, okay.
At the end of the year. Yeah. Just put it here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever
just
that
put it
is.
here. So if you're with me, just comment like, yeah, I'm with Rob, because that's this logical thing to be with. Okay. If you want to be with Brian, comment like, hey, I like losing money and having bad takes. I'm with Brian. And then you put that in the comments and then we'll talk about that a little bit. So here's a good segue here to kind of the last part of the segment is
What,
around
bad offenses?
around the north
Oh,
and bad offenses, but with the offensive coordinator genius that is Ben Johnson.
Sure.
Okay? So training camp's buzzing, right? Like we got the same buzz around Detroit. In Chicago, the headlines are Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson.
yeah.
And kicking them out of practice and stopping things and pretending to be Dan Campbell the best he can pretend to be Dan Campbell, right? So a lot of interceptions are happening. He doesn't have good timing with his main wide receiver, Rome Odunze. There is some potential issues, and it feels like a broken record. Like you can take the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets, you can say they're going to have quarterback problems every year, and I'll put my money on that. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
It's happening.
I could see it happening. I truthfully believe that Caleb Williams has a lot of athletic ability. He has a lot of skill sets. I don't think he's a good NFL quarterback, and that's just where I feel. That's just where I'm at. I think Ben Johnson is a great orchestrator of an offense. I don't know if he's going to be a good. I don't know, and I can't say he's not going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a good head coach.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yep.
I know Brian's rooting against him for sure. Like he's going to bed at night and like as a good Catholic, he's saying his prayers, and at the end of every prayer, he's saying, "I hope Ben Johnson doesn't succeed." Because
I'm leaving that out of my prayers, but I am hopeful that the Lions are more successful than he is.
All right. So Green Bay Packer land. Defensive backs are looking good. They're getting confident. They feel like they got some depth.
Hold on, is this the same defensive backs that were once wide receivers?
This is the same. So we started from here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Okay.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. I think there was an old rap song in 1996 that talked about that, and that's maybe how they feel about their room
Sure.
right now. So they got Hassan Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Nate Hobbs, some guys that are kind of stepping up and outperforming expectations, making their room feel pretty good. Also, they got some depth at O-line. Elton Jenkins is back.
Yep.
They're feeling pretty good about their O-line depth right now.
Yep.
And basically they kind of have a different problem in Detroit. They feel like they got a lot of guys there that have experience and they're ready to perform and protect Jordan Love.
You think Jordan Love is going to be the guy? Because I'm seeing a lot of rankings. This is a time of rankings, a time of lists that Jordan Love might be out in front of Jared Goff.
What do you think?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, we will see, but I kind of feel like you got Jared Goff, you got Jordan Love, you got JJ McCarthy, and then you got Caleb Williams. And I don't know if that's a hot take or if that's not a hot take, but
okay. No, I like it. I would agree.
That's where I'm at. Also, some simulations now favor Green Bay to win the NFC North. A victory over Detroit could boost them to a 52% chance. So right at the beginning of the year, we're going to be able to see kind of the tilt of the North according to some. I mean, we live in an AI world. Why even live real life? Why even play real games? Why not let the simulators play it all out?
And you've seen the NFL Network. Was it NFL or is it Fox Sports? I'm not sure which. It talked about how the rankings go, and they put the Green Bay Packers well above the Lions. The Green Bay Packers, I feel like they were at 5th, I believe, and the Lions were at 9th in their power rankings. Unbelievable to me.
That's awesome. Let's like bring that on. You don't want everybody singing your praises. Like
Fair.
we felt it going this time 1 year ago. People were singing the Lions praises. They're massaging the Lions, this and that, and the Lions maybe were reading their own press clippings a little bit, feeling pretty good about themselves. That's not what you want as a gritty team. You want to be buried alive. Throw away the key. You want to be able to climb out of that. And then week 17, week 18, get into the playoff week, you want to be like, hey, like you were writing us off. You want to relive those press clippings and be like, we're here and we're going to punch your ass in the mouth.
We are. And I 100% agree with you. I want to be the underdog. I don't want to be the favorite.
And that brings us to the Minnesota Vikings, who won a ton of one-score football games last year. I think there were like 7-1, 8-1, something like that in one-score football games. Justin Jefferson sat out practice recently, a couple days. He's got a little hamstring injury. Meanwhile, McCarthy is getting different reports. You know, like some people want to bury the guy alive, and some people are saying like he looks pretty good. But kind of the synopsis of what I'm seeing is he looks like he's going to be a potentially better quarterback than Sam Darnold, but maybe the offense is going to slightly regress this year.
I think that he has a lot of potential. I think that if he can, ultimately grow throughout his NFL career, I don't think he's going to do it automatically right now. But I think that over time, he's going to be really, really, really good.
How many reallys was that?
I don't know. I think there's 3.
Okay, 3.
Okay. Anyway, right. I just think that he's going to take some time to get there. So he's going to have some growing pains, and I think that there's going to be time and some calls that are made, and they may not be able to overcome the close games that they had last year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So like, recap this podcast. What you saw in the preseason game doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
and some guys put on an island. They're testing some guys. They're just trying to figure out. I think the Lions are 96% settled on who's going to make the team, and they're just trying to have a few guys put on an island to try to battle it out.
If you think differently, please put it in the comments. If you think there's a UDFA that's like, you're like, oh man, for sure this guy's going to be the guy, let us know.
Yeah. The Packers are not going to win the NFC North.
Nope.
Let's just
nope.
end that talk there.
Nope.
And the Lions feel like they killed that draft. Just the confidence oozing out of that episode tells me that they are uber excited about what they got.
They love their guys. They love their dudes. They go after them right away, and they're happy with what they got.
One comment we didn't talk about, but I think should be talked about real quick at the end of the episode is they basically said, we think we have our offensive line of the future. And that's with one aging tackle.
One's like 22.
That's with one aging tackle. So basically 4 guys they got to replace. They feel like they have the chess pieces kind of moving forward. So
I love it. I love what the Lions have done in the draft. I love Brett Holmes and what he does. I think he continues to cook. And if you haven't followed us on social media, please do so now.
How would they do that?
Please go to us on Blue Sky or X. Follow us as you see. Email us if you feel inclined. And like and subscribe.
X is a cesspool. It's terrible. So if you want to comment, please comment on the YouTube channel or something like that, because it's hard to wade through those waters over there on the Twitter sphere. But hey, let's sign off. So
let's do it.
Thanks for passing time with us. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's where we want to interact with you mainly.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into topics next week. There's a lot more content to follow. With that being said, thank you for watching. If you're still watching, we appreciate you. I'm Rob.
I'm Brian.
Let's go. See you next week.
Go Lions.